Welcome back to the DDK CAD Technology Systems ongoing demo series of the Composite Panel Builder. And in this session, we're going to talk about some miscellaneous commands that will just help you overall create your shop drawings and maybe make things a little easier for you. So one of the first miscellaneous commands is the auto wall joint utility, and that's this little hammer up here. So what we'll do is zoom in here, and this what we have is a polyline with some vertices already laid out. And what we want to do is put some wall joints alongside that. So let's go ahead and click on it, and whatever our system is currently set to, plan section, and this one I think is just a SAF range screen, and it goes ahead and lays it out for you. So you get the extrusion tags, and then anywhere there's a corner, outside, inside, it'll create a plan for you. So that's how simple that. It's kind of a neat little toy to have. Now, one of the next items is the arc wall projection. So in a previous video, we talked about arc, converting an arc into flat straight edge panels versus curved panels. So now what we have is a polyline segment, like similar like this up here, but this one doesn't bend, and it has already vertices attached to it. And what we can do is we can use the arc wall projection utility. That's another one of those miscellaneous commands, and then just click on the polyline segment and the arc, and what it'll do, it'll ask you for either or, and then we'll say curved, and it'll just push that polyline up against the arc and create the panels along the arc. Okay, so that's pretty cool. Now down here we have another option, and if you want, you could always use the editing tool to add the dimensions to that segment. And so down here we have one polyline segment that is this long. So this little tool will help you divide this up if you already know, because a lot of times the architects will give you a span and say, hey, from here to here we got 60 equal panels or 20 equal panels. So we could do it equal segments, and that's what we'll do. We'll come up to our little toy for plans and sections, and we're going to say divide by into equal lengths. And then we pick the polyline. It automatically snaps to the center line. So we click on it. How many segments do you want? 12. Okay, and now when you click on it, you'll see 12 equal segments. Now what we could do is we could say, hey, let's project that up there and see what happens. So if you come back to your arc wall projection utility again, and we just click on this line segment, and then that polyline, we have to get the polyline. It says you want to get rid of that? Sure. And it adds the new ones. So there you go. So that's pretty easy. And then the other one for divide is a single segment here. So we could say divide, and what it is, it's a segment of the polyline. So in this scenario, we're going to run it a couple times. So we're going to say divide the whole thing, right? We're going to divide it into 3 segments right now, 3, and then say okay. So now we have 3 segments, and then we can come back and say divide again, and this one we're going to divide by equal segments right here, and we're going to just say, I don't know, the segment length right there is 93, so we'll say 24. We're going to go with 24 inches and say okay. Had to hit return. So this segment is divided out in 24. This is still your other one and the other one. So you can play games with how the architect laid out the thing and not have to snap to all the individual points. You can just use this tool. All right, that takes care of that. So one of the other toys is we can play with this unfold utility, and this is a wall segment that already has plans or panels laid out against it. So what we want to do is unfold that segment. So there's a neat little utility in there called unfold. So we'll click on that, and what it'll do, it'll automatically lay out the elevations for us. And we're going to move over so we have enough room. Click, and then say put it right here, and there's the elevations for different elevations, and we can then decide what the section looks like. Is it a 3, 4, 5 rows of panels, because each one may be different. Then we could just use our old tool panel grid utility and project that and have all the panel shapes made. That was easy. Then one of the other utilities is the quick fill, and then we just click on that little bucket right there, and we say, hey, I'm interested in, let's go with 3 rows with 12 columns. So we want it all divided up evenly into panels. And then we just say build, and there's the pattern we want to use. So we say build, and then we click in there, and automatically you get your walls. So then from there, we could actually create our elevation panels. We could just lay them out. And in this scenario, they're all the same. All right, so that takes care of that. Then down here, we have another utility for rescaling the panel ID and tags. The Composite Panel Builder automatically draws and scales the tags according to the size of the panel. So after it's done and you get different sizes, you can always come in to the miscellaneous commands, which is right here, and then say I want to rescale the panel ID. And then when you window the area, and hit return, it'll automatically tell you what the current scale is. And you say, well, let's make it 16. So we just beefed it up. And we can do the same thing for the panel extrusion labels. And that's right here. And then we can just window the whole area again. And now we're just amplifying the extrusion labels. So there you go. So you could make those bigger or smaller, whatever you want. Okay, that was easy. So let's say we have hundreds of panels in the drawing and we're not sure where or anything is. So because you constantly zoom in and zoom out looking for stuff, and built into the program is this find panel utility. And then we could say we're looking for AW3. And then we're looking for the elevation view of that. It's already telling you what color it is and how big it is. So let's go find the elevation of AW3, and it's right there. Let's pull that back up and say I'm really interested in the flat panel design. It must be on the drawing because this is able to be clicked on. If it's not on the drawing, it would be grayed out. So let's find the flat panel there. There's our flat panel design for AW3. It's that simple. So find panel is a real neat tool to use to get around. Okay. And then there's create panels from a CSV file. I think we may have discussed that before, but basically what it is one of our create panel utilities right here. It's create from a CSV. You have to go locate a CSV file. Here's a sample, and then you could pick the ones you want out of there. Let's just grab these and let's tell the program to draw them. Okay, and we'll draw them right here. There it is. So whatever the size and quantity in that file is, yeah, that's how you do it. That's pretty simple. Another option here is we have sometimes we have panels that look like this, where you've got a corner. Let's say it's a soffit panel, it has to go up under maybe 18 inches or so, whatever it is. But if we tried to attach a plan or a section to this guy, it would force it to be rectangular. So we need a method to actually create outside cornering, and we may want to put it on the left and on this side. So let's come over here and we can say set an outside corner. And what this is geared for is panels that cannot have a plan like this attached to it, but it's still corners. So there, we're going to say if it's 18 inches, we could pick it whatever we want. 90-degree angles, fine. Then we say save, and then we say put one right there. And what it does is it puts a neat little hinge right there. And then we could also come over here and say I need one over there as well. And then I'm done. I hit return, and now I got a panel with 2 outside corner bends. Let's go ahead and draw that and see what it looks like. So we'll go like that, draw, select the flat panel. There's our flat panel. Pulls up in a nice dialog where say that's the panel I'm interested in, and see if we can get the, there it is. So we were able to add an 18, takes 30 seconds off the outside edge, probably a 16th because it's really, well, it's actually the 30 seconds right here for the fold, and that's our bend allowance. So that's how easy that is. And then finally what I'm going to talk about is you'll have miscellaneous field, and like we have reports on, you know, how much extrusion material needed and blah 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 blah. Here we got field mounted material perhaps, or spline material or something like that. So the caulking gun allows us to assign different like railings that could be attached to the wall, J channel such and such, and whether or not an item is caulked you know, maybe it's a wet seal or a rain screen, and then we need to put in spline material. So you just basically select, let's pick something here, a joint closure. Let's do an H channel, okay? And we'll pick this guy right here and call him an H channel. I think those guys were probably something else. Anyway, after you do that, you can come into your material takeoff, say field mounted material, click on this, and voila, you get it, yeah, what it is. So you could copy a lot of those around, and as long as you just assign them, you can get your material takeoff. So basically, these line segments would be under your elevation view and stuff like that. So there you go, materials, all this kind of stuff. And it's just there's a whole bunch of other utilities built in, but those are some of the primary ones. So thanks for watching.